Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to talk about the evolution of Multicrew in-game, running small, medium, large ships, capital ships with a crew of people or NPCs or AI blades. What are the plans for these systems? What roles can you do on ships? Why would you want to do that? That's what we're going to be covering today. So Multicrew in Star Citizen at the moment is mostly just pilot, which does most of the role on the ship, and gunners or turret operators. But that's going to be changing this year. Star Citizen plans to add a ton more gameplay to its Multicrew feature set. This video is by no means exhaustive, but does represent multiple snapshots of development and what Cloud Imperium have said over several years, and some more context with that, and some of the expectations of the future systems. Multicrew in Arena Commander is available now. It's awesome, but it's pretty much just being a pilot or being a gunner. Even just with this though, there are plans for evolving the turret gameplay. There's going to be more choice for weapon options. There's going to be obviously more loadouts and choice of items. There's going to be the precision targeting mode, which will allow you to sort of zoom in and target subsystems and more accurately target fighters and stuff. Turrets on ships are really important. Manned turrets allow you to cover sections of the ship that you wouldn't normally be able to cover. They are going to be relatively powerful at warding off fighters, bombers and ordnance. It's going to be based on the sort of armament they have though. Some might be more for taking out larger ships. It does look like Cloud Imperium are pushing towards the larger the ship, the larger the time to kill. It sort of scales upwards. But a lot of these two-seater or small, maybe even some of the medium ships, they're mostly going to be just pilots and turret gunners as their core gameplay, even in the future. Lots of ships, though, do have additional co-pilot and operator stuff or specialities for the ship, like the RSI Scorpius Antares that has dampening for quantum interdiction and an EMP that's both controlled by the co-pilot. So some ships will be getting various specific stations for various gameplay, so things like e-warfare or counter-e-warfare, quantum entanglement devices, scanning, ping and survey stations and functionality, mining, salvage, we've all seen that. That works in game at the moment, but there's other stuff beyond just those industrial gameplay loops. There's holotables for you mapping and sort of sharing maps and coordinating how you're going to proceed in a battle or whatever. Drones, ability to take control of drones, drone stations, various research and science roles and stations, hacking, crafting, and engineering. Engineering's a big one we'll come back to later, but there's a load more as well. So permissions and stations. You're going to be able to give certain seats and stations additional access as part of a permission system. So you go, I'm sitting in the co-pilot's chair, I've got access to these systems, and I've also got access to, well, they've given me security access to the doors, they've given me the ability to move between these parts of the ship, I can actually access and go into these turrets. But if you were just a turret gunner, you'd be given the turret that you're gunning and access to the corridors linking to your quarters. Maybe if there's an emergency, you have access to more of the ship and all the way to the escape pods. What I'm saying there is you can potentially give some of the gunnery systems or other functionality of the ship to a different seat. It's not sort of super, this seat can only do this. There's lots of flexibility you can use to set exactly what systems someone can access and give them a proper role on your ship. The only exclusion that we're aware of here is sort of the main pilot operation of a ship. So that's only going to be accessible by one person. You can't sort of go, I'm in control of the flight of the ship, but also you can have some of the flight systems. You can't do stuff like that. Interestingly, this might be overridden by a ship that has a battle bridge like the 890 Jump. Basically what I'm saying is you can't normally divide up access to the movement of a ship to other stations. That's just in control by one person, but if a battle bridge is activated, maybe it sort of goes, no, the other stations are inactive and this one takes priority. So this is really important for Multicrew because it allows you to make roles on your ship. It allows you to go, you're security, you're a gunner, you are the captain. You don't want someone having more access to the ship systems, maybe systems that they're not expert in, but they don't know how to use. So other than what we've discussed about individual stations and giving access to different people and basically setting your own roles as part of Multicrew, what else can you do on a ship? Well, there's obviously the pilots, there's gunners, there's engineers, which do have an important job. There's security, there's kind of your command crew. So this could be your co-pilot, they can be missile operators, scan operators, kind of any role you want to set them, really. But there's other things like the ship specializations we talked about, cargo management, cargo loading and unloading, medics, people doing farming, science, hacking, Cloud Imperium are working on some massive updates with the resource management system and engineering gameplay coming to Star Citizen. I suppose also physical components and the Maelstrom system are all part of this as well. So, resource management system, that's circuitry in ships. Literally going, your components are physicalized and they are connected to each other and they share sort of resources between them. They need power, they can get damaged, the connections between them can get damaged. You need to be able to put out fires that can be causing damage or are caused by a malfunction of these components, so engineers are running around trying to deal with that. There are sort of life support systems and gravity control and things like that. Fire will take oxygen, take it out of your system, which can cause you to suffocate. So with ships with an interior, and obviously this scales up bigger the ship is, you need engineers to be going around putting out fires, repairing components, replacing components, doing things with subcomponents. There's also an engineering panel which you can access, which will show you the sort of state of your ship and go, these components are damaged. You can access things like being able to vent and open airlocks or the ventilation systems, so you can expunge all of the oxygen out of a room to get rid of a fire. Again, this is very closely linked to security systems because you'll be opening and closing doors and permission systems. An incredibly important part of an engineer's job will also be the sort of maintenance and replacement of ship systems between battles and sort of while they're getting to a location. Wear and tear, malfunctions, they're all things that you need to consider. Doing better power management of your systems as well, sort of underpowering them, will also increase the system's longevity and make malfunctions less common. And with physical components, you're going to be able to target these systems individually when you're attacking, and the artificial sort of health pools of ships will be going away because there should be a relatively big increased time to kill, especially with larger ships. But you're going to be taking out these sort of subsystems, you're going to be taking out their power plants and whatever, and that ship's going to be losing functionality, eventually being disabled, sometimes being permanently disabled. I say permanently disabled until you can drag it back to a port or specialist facility to have it repaired, or until you can get a ship large enough to come along and use a tractor beam to replace a component that it needs. So the larger the ship, typically the larger its crew complement will need to be. Also, one of the CIG devs said the larger a ship is, the more sort of like traditional naval warfare it will feel like with that ship. So sort of long-range bombardments, relatively slow maneuvering of your capital ship, and you're turning it so that it takes damage on different sides of its hull and armor. Capital ships will be perfectly runnable with smaller crews as well. Smaller than originally expected, at least from my point of view. So ships like, at least it looks like that, like a Javelin, you may be able to effectively run with like 10 or so people. So your pilot, your co-pilot, your 7 turret gunners, and an engineer. You'd have some people multi-rolling, getting out of their seats, coming to help the engineer running around while in combat or whatever. But you could also get NPC crew, you could get AI blades to assist, and you could scale this crew up. So, and that's the sort of main thing I want to get through to people, is that crews are going to be scalable in Multicrew. You can hugely overcrew your constellation, filling all the stations and then going, oh, let's have a couple of extra engineers, let's have some security forces, let's have a medic on board, let's have a pilot for its snub craft, let's have someone that's ready to go out in the little vehicle, someone doing cargo management. There's a huge amount of stuff you could do there, right? Ships are going to be bound to a relative extent by their life support systems, though. How much oxygen can the ship produce for you and its crew? That said, I suppose you could have some crew walking around in spacesuits using up their oxygen tanks there. But I would consider crew and how big and expansive you want your crew as almost part of your loadout. There are lots of roles you don't need. You can technically run a Javelin solo, sort of, so you can get it from A to B, right? If it was in combat and you were just running it yourself, you'd only have access to your very small amount of its weaponry, and you would be really, really sort of screwed if you had a malfunction with power plants or the engines or whatever, because you wouldn't be able to get away. So what's the meta going to be for running capital ships? Is it better to have a fully crewed Idris, take that to a battle, or maybe have a skeleton crewed Idris and then also bring a Perseus? I suppose it literally depends on what you want to do, how long you're taking the ship out for, the exact role, all of that sort of stuff. Now, something that I'm hoping to see this year, but we haven't got a huge amount of information on it beyond that Cloud Imperium are working on it, are AI blades. So AI blades are basically the ability to put modules into certain parts of your ship, sort of the computers or whatever, to give your ship some additional functionality or some automated functionality. So you can go, I'm going to have some of these turrets on my ship, automatically firing at enemies that come within this sort of distance. Awesome. You can run a ship with less people if you've got some of the turrets being automated, right? AI blades aren't necessarily going to be as good as players. That's one of the things they want. They want it to be players, then NPCs, then AI blades, sort of like in the pantheon of how good stuff is. So player crew, always going to be the best choice if you can get them. I say the best choice. I mean, I've met some real dum-dums as people that I know that AI, even the dumbest AI would be better. I'm one of them. But it's not just going to be for controlling turrets and that sort of stuff. There's going to be the ability to automatedly fire out countermeasures. There's going to be bounty hunting databases. There's going to be ways of making your ship potentially better or more effective at salvage or mining. There's going to be loads of these different types of AI blade, which give your ships enhanced functionality, improve something, give you something entirely extra. But in a lot of cases, they're going to be filling in for crew. And with that in mind, something that's going to be coming after AI blades will be NPC crew. There will be hireable crews, which you can use to crew your spaceships. Now, I think that you're only going to be able to hire crew for ships that you're on. I do not believe the plan is to be able to have huge fleets of NPCs that you are all in control of, that you're just flying around. I'm one guy and I've got 200 NPCs that fly a fleet around for me as well. I believe they're supposed to be an assist to running a ship with AI blades, with player crew. Yeah, you could probably run a capital ship with just yourself and an NPC crew and some AI blades. Yeah, but I don't believe the idea is to have tons of like fighter wingmen and stuff like that as well. But maybe you will be able to have a limited amount of AI and NPCs beyond that. Obviously, what we're talking about here is stuff that Cloud Imperium are going to change and evolve to some degree. I just think it's important to sometimes just talk about all we know about a subject, bring it together, and then evolve the conversation from there. Multicrew is looking absolutely awesome for Star Citizen. It's one of the reasons I got into the game in the first place. And with all the sort of gameplay loops and additional features that are coming into the game and the evolution of that Multicrew, it's looking a load more awesome. Obviously, running a small ship like a Constellation or a Cutlass or Mercury Star Runner, relatively easy with a small crew. When you scale that up to huge crews on like big capital ships that you could have quite sprawling crews if you wanted to, that becomes a lot harder to sort of organise and making sure that everyone is in the same area. I do think that they are looking at having smaller crews for those larger capital ships than we had originally thought, which I do generally think is a good thing because obviously you can scale it up if you want large crews, but obviously there's a lot more room to evolve. I'm really interested to know what you think about all these systems. Is there anything that we missed here? Are you keenly awaiting when they release the Idris series of capital frigates with Squadron 42's release? Are you interested in Multicrew, but more in an industrial sort of scale where you're all working together to do science or something like mining or salvage? Because the Reclaimer's got an interesting Multicrew loop at the moment where you're having the pilot sort of fly towards your salvage, and then you've got people that can grab stuff with tractor beams, you've got people that are going to be hull stripping, you've got people that are also doing structural salvage, you've got people that can fly out of the ship and remove components and parts of the ships or loot them. Some people are going to be moving crates from the dispenser into the cargo grid and otherwise managing the cargo. And having a load of player crew on a ship is obviously really useful for when you come to loading and unloading a ship as well. You got a big cargo ship, yeah, you could fly it from A to B by yourself, but then you might be spending a lot of money having your ship loaded and unloaded and a load of time associated with that, having like the station's facilities do it, but you could have your own crew do it. Maybe that's a lot cheaper, maybe that's a lot quicker. We'll sort of have to wait and see. Gone off on a huge tangent there, but Multicrew is awesome, and I'm interested to know what you think of Multicrew and how you think these systems are going to evolve and how you'd like to see them evolve. But whatever your questions are, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. The giant ape climbed the skyscraper, swatting at helicopters that harassed him. You look up at the massive 50-foot creature of muscle and hair. He's got you firmly in his grasp. Any more pressure and you'd snap like a twig. He brings you to his mouth, and then you realise you should have got yourself nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. It would have provided you security and anonymity, preventing the great ape from finding you, but also accessibility to some of your favourite shows. Check out the links below for a massive discount and to help support the channel. Talking about supporting the channel, you can help by pressing that join button under my videos or even becoming a Patreon with the links below again. That goes a long way to helping us make daily Star Citizen content. A massive thank you to everyone that does that already or supports the channel in other ways like commenting, liking and sharing videos. We are just about to hit 200,000 subscribers, which is awesome, seeing we are a niche Star Citizen dedicated channel. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For January 2024, we are giving away a Drake Corsair. This is a very popular multi-role, multi-crew explorer ship that is very good at a huge range of stuff in the verse. It also comes with lifetime insurance and a game package, all you need to play Star Citizen, and all you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during this month. More details in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my channel and other videos on there as well, and I'll see you in the verse.